Hey, this is Shiraz, and before we get started, I just want to let you know that when I clear something for someone, when I cause a shift, I tend to yawn and cough from the energetic shift that happens. I don't know why it happens. It's just how my body works. And if you don't know that, you're going to listen to this video and go, what the hell is wrong with this guy? You might still think that, but now there's more of an explanation. The other thing to keep in mind is that if you hear something that you can absolutely relate to, when I cleared for them, you can get it cleared for you too. Just say yes when they're saying yes, and it works. I have people that watch these videos every morning to get stuff cleared. This can be your new morning habit too. Okay, that's enough for that. Let's get on with the video. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get a great shift out of it. See you soon.
I've got all these ideas for, putting content out, videos, blog posts. I get them. And when it comes down to actually creating them, like manifesting them,
Yeah.
I get really held back. It's the same thing when replying to emails. It's something about the permanence of the conversation and the provability of it as opposed to just a conversation with someone.
Okay. So, do you want to be held accountable? Well, that's a no.
That's a no. I'm afraid of being held accountable when
Okay.
I'm wrong, essentially.
Okay.
When I take too big a bite out of it and promise something I can't deliver.
Okay. So it feels like there was an instance where you promised something you couldn't deliver and it went really badly.
Um, there have been multiple instances where I promised something I couldn't deliver on, whether or not it went really badly.
Okay.
Probably more so in my own mind. There were a couple. There's been a few times where I've let people down, like let my students down by not being there enough for them.
Okay. And how do you feel when that happens?
Like shit.
Okay. So you're trying to escape that emotion of I feel like shit.
Yeah, I feel like shit. Feel like I let someone down.
Okay. So when that happens, how long you stay in that emotion is up to you. Right? If I feel like I've let someone down, then it's like, oh crap, I let them down. And then I get myself back out of that emotion and I say, okay, now what do we do? How do we move forward from here? But what most people do is they get into that, oh man, and then they dwell on it and dwell on it. I still can't believe it. It's a couple of days later, and you're talking about it to other people. It's like, and I let him down, and I still feel like crap. And you're just perpetuating that emotion. And perpetuating that emotion doesn't help the situation in any way. Taking
I
action.
know the story.
You what?
I know the story behind that one.
Okay, what's the story behind that?
That if I don't keep punishing myself, if I don't hold on to that bad feeling, I'm more likely to do it again in the future because ADD brain just forgets that
Okay,
I.
all right. So are you willing to step out of the story that you have to hold on to that feeling so that you won't do it in the future?
No. Want to, not there yet.
Okay. But you're doing it and still every now and then you end up doing it like you end up letting someone else down. Right? You said because it's happened multiple times.
Yeah.
So, it's part of life that you're going to be there for people and sometimes you're going to let people down. You're deciding to punish yourself for being human. Are you willing to step out of the story that you have to punish yourself whenever you let someone down?
If I say yes, you're gonna call bullshit.
Well, this is about you making a decision, right? It's got to be you being, yeah, I'm done. I'm done with that story. Do you reward
Well, no,
yourself?
that was recognizing someone else's story.
Okay.
That was a parent story
Well, so what was your parents' story?
that uh when I did wrong, I needed to feel bad. Otherwise, I wouldn't change my behavior.
Okay. So when you do something wrong, if you're a moral person, you're going to feel bad. You're going to feel bad for a little while. You don't have to continue feeling bad. Let me ask you this. When you do something right, do you reward yourself?
Yes.
Because that's not coming up true.
I'm getting better at it. Doing it more.
Positive reinforcement works better than negative reinforcement. So when you do something good, when you're there for someone, celebrate that.
Mhm.
So that way you're going to build up that addiction to being there for people. If you dismiss it, you don't build up an addiction to it because then you don't get the dopamine hit. You don't get the oxytocin hit. Whenever you do something good, you get hit with oxytocin.
Mhm.
But if you do something good, if you're there for someone and you're just like, well, I'm supposed to be there, and that's just it, and I'm not going to make myself feel good about it. It's my duty. Then you don't build up an addiction to being there for people. However, you do build up the addiction for not being there and punishing yourself because you feel good in the punishment of you. That's when you get your dopamine hit. There, I'm being a good person by punishing myself, and you get your dopamine fix. So how about we flip it around?
That's why I was surprised it didn't come up true, is I have in the last probably 2 years made a
Mhm.
much more intentional and concerted effort to celebrate the good things. So that
Okay.
surprised me. I was like, oh, I actually do celebrate it. Maybe I'm not doing it enough. Maybe that's why it didn't come up. Like I could recognize there's times that I haven't.
What I feel is that you're celebrating it when it's a really big deal. When
Okay.
you could be celebrating it where it's just like someone asked you to pick them up, and you're like, okay, I'll pick you up, and then you pick them up, and you're like, well, this is just a thing. It's not a big deal. So why should I give myself an oxytocin hit?
Okay. It's a possibility.
Okay.
I still feel like I celebrate tiny things, but maybe my idea of tiny versus
Okay.
others. And I'll
Okay.
accept.
So let's go get rid of the negative first. Are you willing to step out of the story that you have to punish yourself whenever you let someone down?
Yes.
It was a question. Like,
Right.
yes.
I was trying. It's
That shows how deeply the addiction goes because it's not. Yeah, I'm done. It's like yes.
no, see, I wanted to answer yes, but I got that feeling inside that usually comes right with the yeah, that's not true.
Sure. Are you a bad person if you don't punish yourself when you let someone down?
Yes.
Are you willing to step out of that story?
Yes.
Yeah, that's getting closer. So remember, this is a story your mom taught you, right? So it's actually her stories. It's not your story. It's hers. You've just decided to carry it on for her. So knowing that it's hers, are you willing to step out of your mom's story that you have to punish yourself when you let someone down?
Yes.
That's better. Are you willing to step out of her story that you're a bad person if you don't punish yourself when you let someone down?
Yes.
And are you willing to step out of the story that being there for someone is just something you should do and not to be celebrated?
Yes.
Oh, okay. How's that feel?
Um, stuff shifted, things slightly better. Feels like on a different platform.
Cool.
Like if I apply it back to the original thing I mentioned, there's still something.
There's still something.
Yeah.
about letting people down.
About putting something down in a permanent verifiable.
Okay. Okay. Well, if you put something down permanently, will you be bound by that?
Yeah, kind of to an extent.
Okay. Are you willing to step out of the story that you will be bound by whatever you put out
Yes.
there? Remember, when you're putting something out there, it's based on who you are in the moment. Right? Someone could come along and say, "You said this 3 years ago. I've got the YouTube video." And you're like, "Yeah, I was a different person 3 years ago. Deal with it." Oh, so if you put something out there, will you be trapped?
Not trapped. This is going to sound like a really pedantic thing, but it's um the image is it's not a trap, it's more of a uh constrainment, confinement, like it draws a line somewhere.
Okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that you have to make sure you don't put things out there so that you are not constrained and confined?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, not quite there. What's okay? We got to let's because you've got the feeling for it, but we don't quite have the word for it. So if you put something out there, what's the feeling?
Um that if I choose the wrong words, it's going to draw me into a box that doesn't reflect who I am.
Okay. Are you willing to step out of that story? No. So if you're drawn into this box that doesn't reflect who you are, that's people's opinion of who you are. They're going to see you put out a video and they're going to look at the video and go, "Oh, she's this type of a person." You're like, "No, that's not who I am. I know it may come off that way in the video, but that's not who I am." Is that what we're talking about?
Uh, yeah, it's like, oh, she said this thing, she must be have this character trait. She must be this
Yeah.
kind of person. It's like, no, I that's not who I am.
So that's actually way simpler because this is about you worrying what other people think of you.
Yeah.
So stop that. Yeah. I'm going to keep saying it over and over until you guys get this. Stop giving a crap what other people think of you. Right? It's just a reflection of their stories. And when you care about what other people think of you, you have given control of your life over to those people, even if you don't know who they are. Do you want to continue giving control of your life over to other people?
No.
Then are you willing to step out of the story that you have to make sure people have the right idea of who you are?
Yes.
Okay. How's that feel?
That was a big one.
Yep. Okay. You good?
Yeah, it's just still going.
Yep.
It's still
Okay.
gonna take a few minutes.
Okay. All right. We'll let that process. Let's give Elizabeth some love. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a like. And if you had a shift of your own, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Also, check out the description for energetic magic events that you can attend every single month. Be well, be aware, and be magical.